Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder aka Clipton with my week 4 predictions, and before I go on with the predictions I want to apologize in advance for getting this out late. I'm currently battling a stomach virus and it's really been taking a toll on me. I had to miss a day of work today, so hopefully I'll be ready for hopefully this virus will recede very quickly, and yeah, I should be good enough to go back to work tomorrow, but we'll see. But anyways, here are my week 4 predictions of the NFL. Alright, first up, we got Cleveland versus Baltimore tonight, and my pick is, of course, going to be Baltimore because, they are better than the Browns on both sides of the ball, both on offense and on defense, so you can expect this to be a one-sided game. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Once again, the Falcons are better on both sides of the ball, so no doubt the Falcons are going to win this one. Plus, they have home field advantage, which they almost always win at home. Very rarely do they lose into Georgia, though. Alright, next up we got the New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. No doubt the Patriots are going to look for revenge after that controversial loss last week, against the Baltimore Ravens, when that field goal should have been no good, but it was called good by the replacement refs. Now that we no longer have replacement refs, now that the regular refs are back, the Patriots have no more excuses to lose games. Alright, next up we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Detroit Lions. Obviously the Vikings are on fire. The Detroit Lions are seeking to get back into the hunt for the NFC North title, after blowing it at the end against the Tennessee Titans with trying to go for it on 4th down. So I'm guessing that the Detroit Lions are going to end up winning it, but who knows? If the Minnesota Vikings end up winning it, then they could be for real this year, but we'll see. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Texans, of course. They're no doubt going to win their division, and a victory over the Tennessee Titans would definitely improve their stats as to why they are the best team in the AFC South. Next up, we have the San Diego Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This one should be a one-sided affair, but who can say? I mean, both these teams want to show why they belong at the top of the AFC West, but I'm going to go with the San Diego Chargers on this one. I mean, yeah, the Chiefs do have a better running game, and if you run the ball more often, you're more likely to win the game, but I think the San Diego Chargers are going to somehow pull it off. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets are going to be at a disadvantage because they lost one of their best defensive players, Darrelle Revis, and the 49ers are looking to get back on track with a victory, with an important victory here. They'll want to win this one, so I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers on this one. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the St. Louis Rams. I'm sorry, I was thinking baseball for a second. I believe the Seahawks are going to defeat the Rams, even though on Monday they had that huge controversial victory. They'll have no such benefit against the Rams. But nevertheless, the Seahawks are still going to pull it off somehow. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals have a lot of momentum on their side. They're 3-0, and they played some pretty good teams so far. I mean, they upset the Patriots in week 2, and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They not only beat the Eagles, they squashed them. So, no doubt the Arizona Cardinals are going to defeat the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we got the Oakland Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. The Raiders, they managed to upset the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Broncos, they're looking to get back on track with Peyton Manning. Obviously Peyton Manning wants to get faster starts. And I'm sure Manning is well aware of how the Raiders play, since he's played in the same conference as the Raiders throughout his career. So I think the Broncos are going to defeat the Oakland Raiders. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bengals obviously showing off a huge victory over the Washington Redskins last week. And they're once again wanting to show why they're one of the best teams in the AFC North. So, and obviously the Jaguars barely pulled it off against the Colts last week, but barely pulling it off doesn't mean they're going to win in the next week. So I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals on this one. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Green Bay Packers. The Packers obviously looking for revenge after that humongous controversial loss. They should have won. And obviously the New Orleans Saints, they have a very weak defense. I mean, yeah, they have an impressive offense, but offense alone doesn't win you championships. And I mean, 0-3 improves it. I mean, they got to improve on defense if they're going to win. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to win this one. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, the Redskins want to win this one, but so do the Bucs. It's just, the Bucs came close to... Yeah, the Bucs have been playing solid, but then again, the Redskins have been playing solid as well. But without the replacement refs there, I'd gotta imagine that the Redskins are going to win this one. Next up, we got the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a long rivalry that goes way back then. And this one could go either way, but I'm going to have to go with the New York Giants because they have had plenty of time to rest up and train for this one after their victory over the Carolina Panthers. So obviously the time between their last game and this game is going to be the difference maker. Then finally we got the Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys. Two 2-1 teams. It could go either way, but I'm going to have to give it to the Dallas Cowboys because they have the home field advantage. Obviously the Bears have a strong defense. And obviously, yeah, but who can say who's going to win this one? But I'm guessing it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, the two teams that have bye weeks this week are the Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So obviously, they'll use that time to rest up and figure out how to beat their opponents for week 5. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.